Hey everyone, how's it going? Shuffle's back here with another video, and today we're gonna do another oh god, I'm having a mind fart here. Another the best video. We're gonna do today the best Kitty Clarissa. So I haven't seen many people build Kitty Clarissa, so in terms of the best stats, I am kind of just guessing because I haven't seen anybody else's. But this is probably the best Kitty Clarissa I've ever seen, even though she's not awakened yet, so I'm sure she's not actually the best, but you could definitely make one better. Let's jump over into her stats really quick. There we go. So here's my Kitty Clarissa. She's not 6-star awakened. Her last awakening is not overly important, though, as I believe it is crit rate. Yeah, it is crit rate. She does get 80 more HP into her base stats, so it would help her out a little bit, and I do need to do that. I just don't happen to have the catalyst, so not going to happen yet. But in terms of stats, I want to go over not only what her stats currently are, but how I geared her and why. So one of the reasons I've been getting a lot of questions about Kitty Clarissa recently is because the Rta meta currently is let's bring 3 strips and hopefully those strips do enough that I can win the fight. So how are you going to counter that? If the enemy brings, the best example I can give you is people bringing Cerise and Blue Tenebria together. So they're going Cerise strips, puts up Speed Break, puts up Restrict, and then Blue Tenebria goes and puts up her, it strips any other remaining buffs, and puts up her Provoke and Buff Block. Um, wait, hold on, wait a minute. Yes, Provoke and Buff Block. For some reason, I thought for a second she didn't have Buff Block. Anyway, you can see I'm not using mine. Um, but that combo is super popular right now. So people have started asking me if they can use Kitty Clarissa as their cleanser. Reason being because they have other cleansers like Acades, Ray, Lilius, Destina. I'm sure I'm missing a few, but other cleansers like that they could potentially either get high speed on or get high res on, but they can't get both. So let's take a look at my Ray really quick, as I do use him as probably my best cleanser overall. He's currently at 256 res on immunity with Water's Origin to help make sure he doesn't get cut, because he's 218 speed. My Alencia is 230 speed, so he needs to get hit in order to get ahead of her. And so speed's already sort of an issue. Into teams like Cerise and Tenebria, he's still great because he won't get debuffed, but think, for example, maybe the enemy brings Cerise, Tenebria, and Arby. If Cerise goes ahead and lands the slow on everybody, I don't have an issue in terms of getting cut. But then maybe I have SSB in my team, and or maybe somehow Ray gets restricted, which probably never happens with that res. But either way, what if that Arby goes before my Ray goes? What if the provoke from the Tenebria lands on my SSB? My SSB counters, triggering the Tenebria skill. Tenebria then goes ahead and her random debuff happens to land a defense break, and then the Arby gets to go into that defense break before my Ray gets to cleanse, and all of a sudden somebody's dead. So that's an issue. Somebody like Kitty Clarissa, where'd she go? Somebody like Kitty Clarissa, because she's a warrior, can run Strack. So there's 2 cleansers that can run Strack. Her and Swimsuit Euphine. What the hell's her name? I don't remember. Anyway, Fire Euphine. So I think I tried Fire Euphine, and she can work. The problem with Fire Euphine is she only cleanses 2 buffs. So taking a look at her skills, Kitty Clarissa's skill 3 cleanses all buffs on all allies. Um, well, decreases. Sorry, doesn't cleanse all. Decreases debuff duration by 2 turns, which essentially is a cleanse, unless you happen to have a 3-turn debuff, which there aren't very many of them. So like against Dizzy or something. But in terms of what we're talking about with Cerise and Blue Tenebria, this will cleanse all buffs, gives herself immunity plus loveliness, and gets an extra turn. The extra turn, she can go into the strip if you need the strip, or if you happen to have a damage dealer and you want to try and kill somebody or fluff damage somebody, you can get that automatic team up. So the reason that this is also important is because she can run Strack, being a warrior. Strack gives her this extra, what would be a 60% if I had this maxed, an extra 60% res, which means instead of having to run her at 250 res like my Ray, I can run her at 200 res. So she's at 205 plus this 60, or plus 57 in my case. So she's actually 261 resistance. Also, to make her even easier to gear, she awakens into resistance. So if you have the awakening, you can give her an extra 24% resistance, which is included in this 205 or 204. So she would actually be 180 if she wasn't awakened. I don't know if you guys, some of you I'm sure don't know that. So if I switch it, she's 181. If I switch it back, she's 205. So taking a look at her gear, being able to get her to 250 speed and 260 res is very rare. DJ Basar can't do that. Ray can't do that. You're never going to get that 250 speed with 260 res unless it's a unit that you have on Strack. It's just not possible. Looking at her individual pieces, she has 45 speed, obviously, with 30% res. She is on a res ring. You will need a res ring for this, ideally with speed on it, if you can find one. This one happens to have some HP and effectiveness on it as well. Then this one is a defense piece with 26 res. This could be better, but given the speed and resistance together on the piece, I am perfectly okay with it. Also, she has such high res that high defense is actually good because she's never going to get defense broken. So her low HP isn't as big of a deal because she has high defense, and I don't have to worry about that being defense broken. Obviously, if you're going into ignore defense, she's going to die, but that's usually not an issue. Here, high speed, high res. I could have gone higher res on this. I have a 40 speed or a 40 res piece I could have used, but because I don't need insanely high res, because of Strack, I can actually afford to go high speed on here. Same thing with this one. Okay res, but it's more about the fact that it's got 12 speed on it with some defense. And same thing here. Another one, I could have gone higher res on this, but I needed the 10 speed to get her up to that 250 mark. So the main thing with her is just her ability to be able to get faster speed as a cleanser than anybody else. Granted, she doesn't have any sustain, but she can do something that nobody else can do. Her ability to go first, cleanse all that off before anything else happens is a real blessing. Obviously, with SSB on your team, if you have SSB there, you can get countered first, but very rarely are you going to encounter an RB that's going to outspeed your Kitty Clarissa. So, at the very least, you'll be able to get rid of that defense break before anything happens to you. So I hope that helps in terms of her gear. I am going to attach a clip of a RTA fight I had at the end of this. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Enjoy the clip, and we will see you all next time. Bye for now, guys. There we go. So you can see we are facing Hongyu. For those of you who don't know who that is, he used to be one of the top players in the game back a couple years ago. I don't think he plays as much anymore. I don't even know if it's him on this account. Actually, I do know it's him on this account because the way he played it, if this is the same fight I'm thinking, was really, really smart of him. But this is a great showcase for Kitty Clarissa and what she can do for you in a Cerise and Tenebria comp. So you can see he does go with Cerise Tenebria right off the bat. I have my standard draft. I do take Ray, who is over 250 res here. He counters with Landy, counters my SSB with the Landy pick, which is a nice draft there. And then finally, He goes with Mercedes. Interesting Mercedes pick there. But because he has the 2 debuffers and I want to ban the Landy, I decide to go with the Kitty Clarissa. Also kind of good into the Mercedes. So he bans the Ray, which means we have no sustain, but he has very little damage, and we do have Kitty Clarissa to save us here. So my Kitty Clarissa is ultra fast. She's around 250 speed. So you can see Cerise goes first. If you look at the attack bars on the left, it goes the attack order goes Cerise, then Tenebria, and then my Kitty Clarissa to cleanse it all off. So he leads things off with the Cerise strip, which lands on everybody except for our high res Kitty Clarissa. So my Kitty Clarissa is 250 speed with 260 res because she's running Strack. He makes a really smart play here, though, in that he decides to not use his Provoke. So he realizes that he's not going to debuff my Kitty Clarissa. So he doesn't use the Provoke here because I know I'm just going to cleanse it off. That's how I'm pretty sure it's actually him. Because every other person I've ever faced has actually used this skill there and tried to Provoke. So he saves it, which kind of makes me stop and think there because I know he's just going to get to do it next turn. But I do have a long shot to either kill her or provoke her before she comes back around, so I have no choice. I have to do that. I decide to go into the strip here to get rid of the shields. We unfortunately get countered and procced against, which is really unlikely, but if you've seen any Mercedes, that seems to happen a lot. That does trigger our counter, and thankfully she didn't get blinded. We counter with 2 defense breaks after the Kitty Clarissa cleansed and stripped. He can now go into the skill 1. Luckily, he missed the seal. But then he procs again, procs another blind. Unfortunately, those 4 attacks didn't give our SSB any stacks because we should have gotten another counter there. But that bug, they refused to fix that bug. So it's our Alencia's turn. She gets to go with her skill 3 into the SSB defense breaks. Deletes the Cerise. We get countered again. So it's our 3rd turn now. All 3 of them have procced the skill 2. At least there's nobody else to blind because he's already blinded everybody, but we do get stacks this time. Luckily, through blind here, we get 3 crits, which is really nice. We can go into our immunity, knowing that if we can kill this Tenebria before we, or provoke her, the fight's already over. So we go into our skill 3. This is really laggy here. We go into our skill 3. Luckily, we crit the Tenebria, which means he now can't win because he doesn't have his strip anymore. She procs her 4th time in a row now. Luckily, that doesn't do anything against us. In fact, it triggers our SSB again. So we're going to get the win there. So really short fight. He did miss the seal on the SSB, which was a big one. But at the same time, Kitty Clarissa just really nice there. Being able to come in, auto-resist, and be fast enough to go before everybody else. The main reason that's a big deal is because with somebody like Ray, I can bring my Ray in, and he can still do all those debuffs. In the meantime, my SSB counters on the 2nd attack. That counter counts as a provoked attack, which means that the Tenebria then counters me. Now he's gotten 3 AoEs into me, and if there's an RB or anybody that's faster, he can just lock me down at that point. It's very hard to get someone like Ray to have enough effectiveness or enough resistance to not get provoked, and still at the very same time be fast enough to get the turn in between there before all their nonsense happens. Like my Ray is like 210, 220, which isn't fast enough. There's a lot of RBs that are faster than that. So anyway, using Kitty Clarissa with Strack Gauntlet is really, really nice. And I want to show that fight off really quick. Hopefully that helps. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe down below. And we will see y'all next time with another video. Thanks so much for watching, and have a great day. Bye for now.